Hello, welcome to a special series of Art Pays Me interviews with the winners of the 2024 Creative Nova Scotia Awards. Presented annually by Arts Nova Scotia and the Creative Nova Scotia Leadership Council, these awards celebrate artistic excellence across Mi'kmaq. Award categories are as follows: Creative Community Impact, Prix Grand Prix, Established Artist, Emerging Artist, Black Artist, Indigenous Artist, and finally the Portia White Prize that is given to a person who has made outstanding and significant contributions to Nova Scotia's creative community over a sustained career, much like the incredible woman that the award is named after. The winner will also choose an emerging artist or cultural organization that they feel deserve recognition. Collectively, the awards are worth $75,000. Visit artsns.ca to nominate your favorite Nova Scotia artist or nominate yourself. This series would not be possible without the fantastic production work of Heist and Kiki Beats. On this episode, I'm chatting with Established Artist Recognition Award recipient Susanne Chui. Thank you for meeting us here for this chat. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
For the sake of our listeners and viewers, can you state your name, pronouns, and your artistic medium?
Sure. My name is Susanne Chui, and I use she, her.
Okay.
And I am a dance artist.
Okay. So dance, man, I love talking to dancers. What was it that led you to this, that made you think that this is the thing you want to do?
Oh, that's great. Well, I always danced. I took lessons growing up in different styles of dance, and yeah, along the way, there's always these like people that kind of encourage you. You know, sometimes it's like someone sees you dance, or a teacher that really inspired me. And there are kind of two people that come to mind in terms of like who inspired me to do this as like a career. The first one was a dance teacher I had when I was a teenager. And it was the first teacher I had who was maybe still an active like professional dancer. And she came like randomly from New York.
Yeah.
She'd married someone from Nova Scotia. And she had danced with a dance company called Alvin Ailey
Oh
in
man,
New York.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was just like hardcore. And I had never met someone where how passionate she was about dance.
Yeah.
Like we used to do our exercises. Your daughter's a dancer, right?
Yeah.
So we do our like tondus, which are these like pointing your toes, and we just, you know, I just would do them. And but she was like, you have to love your tondu. You know, like everything was like so passionate. Every movement had so much meaning, and I just had never experienced dance to be like that. So she was one of the first people that inspired me, and her name was Anne Haight.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, seeing someone who like there's passion in the practice, not just the performance.
Absolutely.
The practice.
Yeah, and like the seriousness and the like how meaningful it is. Like it's just exercises. It felt like just exercises, but to put so much like care into it and so much passion, and that it felt like such an important thing to be doing. That kind of translated into going to school. I went to school in Toronto at a place called Toronto Dance Theatre.
Yeah.
And those teachers too, a lot of them, one of them was also maybe it's an Alvin Ailey thing. One of them, like again, like you're there and you just feel like you're doing something that's so important, and even though there's so much, you know, challenges and difficulty in the world, if you can kind of give that full passion and full attention to something, it's just such an important practice.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of us, when we talk about art and creativity, there's a therapeutic thing, and when you're saying that, do you find that when things are going really rough in your life, or there's a lot of stuff happening in the world right now, if you can just channel all that energy into your dance, does it kind of take it away for a minute?
Yeah, I think so. For me, yeah, dance is a way to like be in relation to the world.
Yeah.
And to feel things, and then have a way to experience them for sure. And to trust that like the things I'm feeling can be processed through movement or through words or through drawing.
So I'll take that back. So it's not necessarily escaping the pain. It's like, let me experience it and express it through movement.
Yeah, I'd say it's more of that.
Interesting.
Yeah, like for example, you know, like having children and having moments of like pure emotion, like pure, like even like rage maybe.
Sure.
You know, that it's like to have those feelings, to express them, but then also to be curious about them, to be like, where is that coming from? to be able to look at things from almost like a creative eye as well, to not just feel bad about myself. Or I think that's one thing I've learned through the creative process, is like how you can take every experience as valuable and you can learn something from it and you can make something from it, as opposed to just having these dark feelings about everything.
Interesting. So we did talk about sort of some of the differences between like visual artists and dancers, in terms of artists tend to get asked about an artist statement. Oh, look, we got a dog. Hey, buddy. So we got, but you said like recently you've been looking at this idea of an artist statement for a dancer, and having this vision, or this like long-term sort of thread that links what you do as a dancer, I suppose. So that brings me to my next question, which would be like, is there a driving force behind like why you dance and how you dance?
Well, I think it does go back to that, what we were just talking about, is that, I feel like dance gave me a way to have a relationship to my body.
Yeah.
And to really feel into my body. And then through that, being able to attend to my inner life, it also gave me a way to attend to the outer world as well.
Yeah.
So to really pay attention to what's happening in the world, to like this dog here, to have a good sense of the external world as well, and a way to process that, because the body is such a that's how we experience the world.
Yeah.
No matter what your form is, right? It comes in through your senses. It mixes with your imagination, with your memories.
Yeah.
And then again, your body is the thing also that expresses it, whether it comes out through words or through an instrument. So, for me, dance in art is a driving force through which to experience the world, including myself, and then my relationship to the world, and then mirror that back. So the driving force is just, in some ways, just a way to be like fully alive.
Okay.
And a way to be in relationship with people and with the world.
Man, deep. It's almost like this thing they say about some painters, I guess. It's like every artwork is a self-portrait in a way. That kind of reminded me of that, what you're saying. It's like, it's all self-discovery on some level, and how we all connect to the universe and relate to each other. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Also because, we're experiencing the same thing. Like you and I are experiencing this moment together, but the way that we would express it or write it or sing about it would be very different, because your experience of the world is different, but the world is the same.
Yeah.
But each of us bring to it a completely different filter, which I think is like super interesting.
Right. Yeah. So is there a particular performance or moment in your career that you're most proud of?
Yeah, if I think about a performance, one of my most recent sort of large-scale pieces was a piece called Where Dance and Music Meet.
Yeah.
And it was a process where I had invited dancers and musicians to come in and to learn these forms that I had been working on for a long time with my teacher and mentor and collaborator, who was a musician. His name is Jerry Granelli.
Okay.
And we had been working on these forms that explore like where are the places that dance and music meet on really essential levels. Of course, like dance and music are related through all kinds of cultures and practices, but just through a kind of our lenses, dance and music had become kind of separate through, institutionalization of music and dance. So we were, for many years, just finding really like places that dance and music can interact and explore and kind of change forms. So this performance I did after Jerry passed away, I brought together dancers and musicians, and we explored these different forms. So I created with some collaborators, music collaborators, these choreographic forms through which everybody could learn, and then in the moment they could create and compose together.
Okay.
So it was both amazing to sit back. I was in it, but I was sat back whenever I wasn't in it. I could watch and just see how the forms and not just the choreographic forms, but also the process that we went through to make it, to have a shared process of kind of listening and sensing, to see people really work in this creating in the moment, but also bringing their individuality to these simple forms. I was just proud of that piece. I was proud that I could see people like transform in the moment, and it was different every night. And they had like a language with which to kind of create together. So I wasn't sure if, because I had been practicing that more on like a singular level or with one or two musicians, I wasn't sure if that would translate to like new people or a big group, but the feeling was like giving the musicians and artists and dancers like so much agency to really like be creative together, and then it created that, it's like the energy, it's like choreographing a certain kind of energy and a certain kind of like trust in a group. I was proud of that process and the transformation that the artists went through.
I was actually going, like, it led to my next question, because I was going to ask you about your process, and it seems like you took this very personal process and shared it with the group and made it something bigger. Yeah, that's interesting. Beyond that, is there some kind of essential ingredient that outside of that process that you're looking for? I mean, you did say your stuff is a reflection of life on some level, but
yeah, I mean that's the ground of it for sure, is the ability to and I think dance helped to create this for me or open this to me, is that my base practice is like sensing, essentially, or listening, maybe a more specific term, but sensing more broadly, that like if I were to start a piece here, like if I were to work in this space here, I would sit here for a while and just listen.
Okay.
You know, I'd listen with my ears, I'd sort of listen with my eyes or see with my eyes, see how the world feels, what are the stories that are in the space. So I feel like my process is all kind of receptive to begin, to attune to the space, to see what stories may be happening here or what choreography is happening here. I work a lot outside the studio, or I kind of work all the time in a way. Like I try not to have that separation between like when I'm being creative, or I think like the world is very creative, and if I can settle myself enough to just be aware of what's happening, then there's like so much inspiration.
Right.
So I'd say like listening, sensing, sort of clearing away my kind of inner critic, kind of putting that quiet for a little while so I can just pay attention to what's happening.
Yeah.
And there's always something there. Like the world and humans are always in this state of creation and aliveness that, so whenever I start or throughout my day, I just kind of try to pay attention.
Okay. So this is more of a technical question. Me, I'm technically recovered from a major injury, but you know, it's still there, and it's probably forever gonna impact me. You're a dancer. How does maintaining your body to be able to do your art fall into this?
That's a great question, isn't it? Yeah, because you're working with an instrument that's alive, right?
Yeah.
That has its limits. I mean, I try to be really realistic about my body and to pay attention to it at times, and it's changing, you know, like I've had 2 children too, so I've gone through big. So to be like kind to my body and to know like this is what it needs now, this is what it needs now.
Yeah.
Again, like accepting that the body is changing and is aging and will have limitations, but also to look at those as not just a negative thing, but like maybe with your injury you're going to move differently, or you're going to, because you're being still, you have to like dig in deeper to your body in the way, instead of just throwing your body around, you know, or you have to explore ways of moving that relate to your body as it is. There's no like perfect form that your body lives in, you know, it's always changing.
There's no perfect form. I love that.
And the gift of an injury is often to slow down, to like pay attention to that part of the body that maybe was calling out to you and that you ignored for some reason, or you went too far. So I mean, that's all you can do, I think, with that's the thing that art teaches us, is like how can we really use the situation, or like be with the situation and mold it into something and use it for creativity as opposed to like destruction, because that's kind of the other option too. Or maybe that forces you to be still for a while and to be with your body in that way. It's interesting because it's, you know, we're always facing it, especially as we're aging too. What can the body do now, and how can I compare my body to what it is itself, as opposed to like a younger version of myself, or younger bodies, or
Do you ever find yourself grieving the loss of certain things you remember you used to be able to do?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very humbling
Yeah.
to age and to be a dancer and to be, you know, I feel like it gets harder to go on to stage and I have to really, coach myself in a way or talk to myself in a way that's very kind. But also I think it's important that different bodies are seen on stage at different ages, that we celebrate the beauty of different experiences.
Yeah.
So, but it's difficult in a world that kind of prioritizes youth.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how does, like, as a dancer anyway, specifically, how does living and working in Nova Scotia impact you?
Yeah, I mean, I love it here.
Yeah.
And I went away to do my training and I lived in Toronto for several years. But when I moved back, I feel like I was able to really like put in roots.
Yeah.
And being so close to nature, so close to parks,
Yep.
having like more space to create because there's less people. Just like living here, there's less people creating. I feel like there's more space here and I was able to make connections really easy. I feel because there's a kind of isolation mentality that people like are really open to working and to meeting you.
Yeah.
I found it a really supportive place to work and a really grounding place to work.
Right. So it's more like, oh, you're a dancer, I'm a dancer too, and we should talk, or you should meet this sort of person, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and one community I found a lot of camaraderie with is the music community.
Okay.
Because I really love the practice of improvisation.
Yeah.
And when I moved back from Toronto, there were a few dancers improvising, but mostly using it as a tool to choreograph. But I really wanted to practice improvisation as like a practice and as a performance in itself. And I found that actually there's a huge like music community and a huge practice, like a long practice of performing improvisation here in the music community. So I found right away, and there was so much like willingness to work with a dancer and to explore across forms, and that's really influenced my work, especially here.
Right.
When I lived in a bigger city, I was really focused on dance and choreography and trying to really put myself out there, you know, because there was such a big community, right?
Yeah.
And since moving here, my work has definitely become more multidisciplinary, like trying to find people who have a similar practice or like ideology, which spreads across disciplines here.
Amazing. So, last question. What does this award mean to you?
Well, I was really touched to know when I found out to get the award. As I said, I really like care about this place, and I'm really inspired by the artists that live here.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of artists here. Through my work with motion dance as a co-artistic director, I do a lot of like trying to support artists and bring people together and create kind of synergy and look to see what needs to be uplifted.
Yeah.
So, and my own work kind of lives in the periphery of that, my own artistic work.
Yeah.
So yeah, to be recognized by my peers is really humbling and such an honor, and just to be seen for the work that I do across my art practice and in my leadership work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to take a moment every once in a while and be like, okay.
Absolutely. You know, just I did something and be proud of it and own it. And actually, I lied. I have another question. Motion dance. Like, what's motion dance about?
Motion Dance is a professional contemporary dance company.
Okay.
I've been there for about 12 years, but the company's been going for 22.
Okay.
And yeah, we're one of the longest running dance companies.
Okay.
And we're almost like a hub for dance, professional dance in the region. So we do all kinds of different programming. We hire artists for different projects. We look for like where there's kind of energy in the community and how we can kind of shape that into choreographic works or collaborations. We also because it's not a big community and there's not a lot of big companies, we also like offer training and we offer choreographic labs and just try to support and create energy in the community and try to kind of find where the identity of dance lives and to celebrate that in Nova Scotia.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So is there anything that we may have missed that you would like to talk about?
It might be interesting thinking about the photos and videos that I might share to talk about like working outdoors, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the question would be, but
What is it about working outdoors that
Yeah.
sort of ignites inspiration in your, I don't know,
yeah,
excites you?
yeah. Yeah, I love working outdoors. Because even during this interview, so much has happened.
There's all kinds of stuff happening and we're just rolling with it and you can't control like whatever.
I know, and it's so alive, and I
Yeah.
guess it relates back to my like improvisational practice.
Right.
Like I love being able to, like respond to what's happening, contribute to this like ongoing improvisation that's happening.
Yes.
In the studio, there's also a lot happening in a studio too.
Yeah.
But to work outside and to get so much feedback from the environment and to
Yeah.
work with it, I just feel like it really sharpens the skills
For sure.
and is so fun. And also it kind of like brings me back to the real world too. Like if I'm just in my office or in the studio, it's really like the places in between that really kind of wake me up and to get out of my head, get off the screen,
Yeah.
to really feel that the world is just such an amazing place. And I guess that's also part of what keeps me going, is to kind of share
Yeah.
how amazing the world is. Amazing can be a broad word. It's also like a very destructive place, but also people, like to work with people and to share what's inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the real magic is. Not just, that's a lesson that I've had to learn so many times. Leave your house, talk to people, meet people, experience. That's why I started the podcast. Like talking to other creatives, talking to people who aren't creatives. Like, you know, like that stuff is where the work comes from.
So the world is like such a rich place in that way.
Yeah. Well, it was nice meeting you, and thank you very much for doing this interview, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Art Pays Me. Hit me up on socials at Art Pays Me pretty much everywhere, and let me know what you think. I love connecting with listeners. If you're an artist looking for clothes that speak to the creative lifestyle, check out artpaysme.com. And don't forget, visit artsns.ca for more information about the Creative Nova Scotia Awards. Peace.
Lay